Who told you can eat my cookies?
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les.
Put that cookie down! Now!
Everybody, it's me, Bryson Booker, and this Friday, I'm in the holiday mood. Well, I have to be, because Christmas is next Friday, and I probably won't be doing a video then. And, oh yeah, my little Christmas tree is in the basement, so my room doesn't really look that festive. But that's not the point. Shouldn't be, at least. The point is this movie, Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and Phil Hartman from 1996. I say Troy McClure because if you know The Simpsons, Phil Hartman made a lot of cameo appearances on The Simpsons. So, and obviously the most of the appearances he made was as Troy McClure, and you saw him in such films as yada yada yada. You also see him in Jingle All the Way in person. This is a pretty good film. It was one that I grew up with as a kid. Now, I see Nostalgic Critic's review. I love Nostalgic Critic. I'm telling you, he cracks me up. But I'm going to give you my review on this film. And it's not going to be 20 minutes either. I'm just going to give you a little summary because the plot is so simple that even a third grader can get it. And give me my final thoughts. We'll be on our way. So, obviously this stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold has to prove that he's a good father, because obviously all this time he's concerned about work and finding a job and, running his job and doing things like that, so he really doesn't have time for his son. Sad, I know. What kind of father is this? And I feel really bad for the boob who married him. Anyway, Arnold has to prove that, hey, I'm not a bad father, so why not do that by getting his son the hottest selling toy at that time besides Tickle Me Elmo? It's Turbo Man. But Arnold runs into trouble as every toy store he goes to is sold out of the famous Turbo Man, yet they still have his sidekick Booster. Doesn't that remind you of another franchise that was kind of sort of the same way, I'll let you think about that. There's a couple of them. Anyway, he runs into Sinbad. Sinbad is also looking for the same toy for his little kid. Obviously, they get into a little fight, and they have some funny moments together. It's like Sinbad and Arnold have a love-hate relationship in this movie. It's like, first they're friends and doing things together. The next second, they're enemies, trying to fight each other and beat each other up. I don't understand the relationship. It's a love-hate relationship between both Sinbad and Arnold in this movie. And, Phil Hartman acts like the supposedly the best father in the world as he tries to woo Arnold's wife into, thinking that he's the better man than Arnold, because Arnold is a flop, obviously, because everything that he's done up to this point, and not even getting his son the Turbo Man doll. Obviously, Phil is, the person that's kind of the annoying neighbor in this type film. Well, more than an annoying neighbor, he's a nuisance. But anyway, that's basically the film. At the end of the film, Arnold turns into Turbo Man, of course. He's tricked into going into as Turbo Man. And eventually gets his son the Turbo Man doll. But what his son does at the end of the movie is give the doll to Sinbad, the evil one. I didn't really understand that, because first you ask for the most hottest selling toy on the market, and your dad goes through heck and high water to get it for you, and you give it to someone else. Now, I know what you guys are saying now. This this is a Christmas movie. You know, this always has to be. Christmas isn't about getting, it's about giving. But if your father goes through heck and high water trying to get you a toy, you better keep it and not even give it to nobody else. Bah humbug. Bah humbug. Jingle all the way. Anyway, besides that little blur that I just had there, I mean, it's in the Christmas spirit. I guess they wanted to have a plot twist or something. But I mean, come on. If I was this guy, I'm like, I would have told my kid, you're keeping the toy. We're getting out of here. We're going home. We're living a nice life until the new millennium. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's a pretty good film. I mean, the plot is obviously simple to understand. You know what's going on in the film. It doesn't leave you confused like halfway or at the beginning. They basically come out with the plot right at the beginning of the film. I mean, what more could you ask for? A lot of films today, or films of this kind, have complex plots that you really don't understand until like the middle of the film, or sometimes even the end of the film if you don't really get it yet. This, nice simple plot to understand. The story is pretty engaging, I guess you could say that. They're basically running the different toy stores. So it does kind of get a little repetitive, but there's antics. He also runs into one of my favorite scenes, the Santa scene. Obviously, I put the cookie scene in the video because that's the scene that everybody knows the movie for. But I love the Santa scene. I'm going to deck your halls, bub. I love it. But besides that, the comedy is mild. I mean, it's not... It'll make you chuckle and laugh out loud, maybe not too much. There's some slapstick moments. I mean, basically, this guy is trying to run around and get a toy for his son for Christmas. If that's the most simplest summary I could give you, I think I'm doing too much. It's a pretty decent film. I mean, it's one of my favorite films that I grew up with as a kid. So I would encourage you to pick it up on video, on DVD, on wherever you get it, on Dasher, on Dancer, on Prince, and on Vixen, Comic, Cooper, Vonner, Vixen. Go pick up Jingle All the Way from 1996, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and Phil Hartman from Fox.